President Gangop told the visiting EU commissioners that the impact of the conflict has spared no one, but he cautioned against the use of bilateral and multilateral cooperation as leverage to influence opinions.
Any war is not good. I can tell you that. And we hope we have a way to end the conflict. It doesn't benefit anybody. People are losing lives, property, and so on, both sides. So therefore, our position as Africans is that we are neutral, but positive in saying no war is good. So they should put our relationship against your problem of war. We are cooperating as Namibia and EU. That's how I put it. So you put it like we are doing it to help you to escape from other problems. But we are doing it because we are interested in developing our country. We have these resources, you have the means, you have everything to go and use it. We're going to use it. That's why we are cooperating. So I got your point. I know how we are feeling. Why it's not good. But we are neutral in this one. Africans have been abstaining, but it doesn't mean we are endorsing any killing of anybody or so on.
Of course, from our perspective, we feel very much, that we have to help Ukraine. We have to provide different kind of support, military, financial, humanitarian assistance to them, because we feel that they are not only fighting for their country, but they are fighting for all of us, also for the UN Charter, for the values. But, Your Excellency, what I want to underline, and we also had a good discussion and very frank and open discussion on this topic with your Deputy Prime Minister this week, we have not turned our back to the rest of the world, because we fully understand that even though the crisis is taking place in our European soil, the crisis is global. You are facing the consequences of that war in your country because of the food security, because of the energy inflation and so forth. So we just wanted to underline that we fully understand the challenges also the global south, including Namibia, is facing, and we are ready to support you.
Fully understand, as my colleague said, the African position. We know what Macky Sall said, we respect it. My comment is that this war, for what it is accelerating the fact that we in Europe decided that it was important to accelerate the green transition. We had already this framework, but it is true that we didn't start really. My comment was not, I'm African myself, I'm Senegalese, so I understand 100% what you say. I'm both. Voilà, je suis avec, c'est mon ami, c'est mon président. So I understand exactly the position of my fellow citizens, believe me.
So guys, here you see these disrespectful Europeans again coming at the president of Namibia and Africans on a whole. Remember at the beginning of the war, when they were fled in the war, in the beginning, remember when at the train station, they were taking off black people off the train to put on white people. They even took off this pregnant lady, black African, take her off the train, she and her kids, put the dogs on the train and leave the black people on the train station and dip. They went by the bus terminal, the same thing, they was turned away. They went to the borders, they get held up at the border for so long. And some of them was strip search, because there was videos going around. But you won't see this on the national news. All the BBCs and the CNN didn't show this. You only see this in video clips all over YouTube. And I think they score it because they can't hardly find them anymore. So how now you want to come to Africa, a sovereign country that's neutral in the war, telling us, trying to force us to take side with the Europeans and the Westerners on this war? Which part of neutral you don't understand? Don't come and preach to us as if you're some moral police when France and America come in cahoots to kill Gaddafi, brand him as a dictator and a terrorist, invaded Libya, destabilized Libya, and took his goal. Where was the uproar in the international community? So they need humanitarian aid, it was against the UN, it was against this. Everybody was numb, everybody was silent. Now, you want Africans to defend a country that don't like Africans. What sense does that make? You're trying to preach to us as if you're some moral police. It doesn't work. The West have been instigating wars and conflicts throughout Africa. They did this in the 1960s with Rwanda, remember? The Americans was behind that. So they destabilized Somalia, they destabilized the Congo. So this is not nothing new. So you're trying to use bilateral agreements and trade deals to force African countries to take sides with the EU. And as the president of Namibia said, and what most countries in Africa is saying, we are neutral, well, except South Africa. South Africa is different, let me explain first. During apartheid, the Russians sent the army to help the South Africans during apartheid. America was supporting the apartheid government. No one says anything. Now Russia wants to do military drills with South Africa. What's wrong with that? They are the only ones who help South Africa in the time of need during apartheid. America was on the opposite side. So how are they going to come and tell South Africa, you don't do no more drills with Russia or else? You see the hypocrisy with these countries? They don't care about Africa. They're just trying to use Africa to go against Russia and China because of the influence they have in Africa and because of the cutting off of resources to the West. That again is aggravating them. So they're finding all kind of loopholes, all kind of ways to find to hold African presidents' feet. But the African presidents are finally, they're growing backbones now. They stand up, chest up. They're talking with their chest now. So they can't manipulate them anymore because, again, this is why YouTube is very important. Because we get to see these and publish these worldwide and they're getting millions of views. So millions of people is seeing what's going on. So there's no longer CNN or BBC to come and say, they can't come and paint the narrative and give it to you. No, they actually have to be careful of what they say and what they do because there's tons of other mini networks all over the world that's now going on YouTube and putting out the content directly to the people. We have direct access. So anyway, big ups to the Namibian president again as always. So don't know, it's the Washington SXM podcast. Tell a friend, like, share, and subscribe. Peace, one love. Boom.